Alright, so I'm doing the long-term review on the Samsung Galaxy Prevail LTE that you see right here. Now I did the review on it when I first got it, and it was truly an amazing phone for the price that you could buy this for. And it still is a really good phone. There are a few little minor things that I've had a problem with it. But for the most part, the phone has actually been a very good and reliable phone over the past couple of months. Now, as I went over the processor and all that kind of stuff, all those months back, it's been pretty good. And I'm taking the case off because there aren't that many cases for it, especially big name brand cases. So let me just go and wipe this off because it's been in a plastic case. Depending on the case that you get, sometimes you will have a few scratches on that metal band that's right on the outside. So it's just showing some normal wear and tear from the case being on there, but overall not too bad. Now, as far as the actual unit is concerned here, the battery life has been amazing. I've had absolutely no problems with the battery life. The phone is still very responsive. Definitely run all your system updates accordingly. Just check, every so often, maybe once a month or so, and just see if there's any new system updates for it. But like I said, it's been very responsive. It's still running very well. Now, again, it is 8 gigs of internal memory on it, so sometimes, quite frequently, you do have to go and clean up the device. You need to go into the system cache and clean out the device. But a little trick that some people may not know, and this is still running, it hasn't updated to Android 5.0. I don't know why it's taking so long, but you can see it's still running Android 4.4.4 on here. So you can still see that there are some, it is still a little bit behind the times. But little trick that people don't quite know is that you can, on some of your apps, and let me just point out one here. Let's go to like Facebook Messenger, okay? You can move some of your apps, not all of your apps, but some of your apps to your SD card storage. You just have to go into the individual app under the system settings and move it. So Application Manager, then you see all your different apps. You can click ones like Best Buy and see there is an option on here, and it's only open to certain apps where it says Move to SD card. This one, like the Best Buy app here, does not have the option to move to SD card. I've already moved a lot of mine to SD card, so like Capital One, a couple other ones that are on here, you do have the ability to move to the SD card. Google Chrome you can't, but there are a few that you can move to your SD card. A lot of the Google apps don't allow you to. So some of the other tricks to this particular phone, if there's apps that you are not going to be using, like for instance Google Play, movies and TV, you actually can put the option in here as turn off. And what this does is it turns off built-in apps and may cause problem with other apps, blah, 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 blah. Your data will also be deleted. The thing is if it's an app that you don't primarily use, like for instance Google Play, movies and TV, I do not use that particular app. So something like that I can turn off. Now apps that I do use will obviously keep going, but a lot of these built-in apps that Google puts on here, Google Play games, stuff like that, you might not use. You can go into the system settings and turn them off. But as you can see by my device memory, now 4 gigs is already used for the OS. This is how much is used right now on device. And I don't use the phone for very much. I do, a couple of social media, some selling and whatnot. But I don't really do a whole heck of a lot. So I've got 1.7 gigabits used in the device itself, and I have 3.5 gigabits available. So you can put some on here, a good amount of apps on here. Now, games are obviously going to take up a lot more, but I don't play a lot of games on the device itself. I primarily play games on my tablet or video game console. So my phone is specifically used for social media, email, and some shopping, while online. So this has been a very good phone. There has been some glitches done to it when I open up multiple applications or when it's been running for long periods of time. Sometimes it does get a little bit glitchy, but the battery life has been pretty good, and most of the time I have GPS off. But the device actually has been pretty good over the long haul here, and it has been used for a couple of months. I have been using the device every day. This has been my primary device. And as far as being a case on here, I just have a cheap plastic little case, just enough to protect the device itself, and it has been working pretty good to protect the device. So long term, this has been a good phone. Again, some downsides to it. Even though the screen is very vibrant, it's very colorful, it doesn't have the HD quality that you do with some of the other devices that are out there on the market. Also, picture quality is not as good, having a 5-megapixel camera with no optical image stabilization, no digital zoom, no nothing. I mean, the camera is kind of, dare I say it, but it's a crappy camera on the phone. The front-facing camera isn't too bad. Now that's the rear-facing camera, and as you can see, it's still a little, it's quasi-responsive, but it's not that great. And again, you can't, where you would be able to use your volume button to zoom in and zoom out, you can't on this device. It just snaps a photo, so it doesn't really do anything for the device itself. And then you also have your, you switch it to front facing. It does have, obviously your LED flash. But just to give you an update on the phone, as far as it being a phone and using it as a phone to do, minor applications, social media, maybe a couple of shopping applications, this phone actually does a pretty good job of doing that. As far as a basic phone is concerned, I am able to upload YouTube without any issues. And again, I have this connected to Wi-Fi right now. I try not to use the data network all the time because Boost Mobile does offer only on my plan it's 2.5 gigabits of 4G LTE data. Not that I ever really burn through 2.5 gigabits because I don't primarily do a whole heck of a lot on here, but you can definitely see that, come on, the phone itself is pretty responsive still, even for being used. And I kind of noticed that, usually phones, especially these lower end budget phones, over a long period of time, do have the tendency to become worn out, per se. So for a long-term use as a phone, as a basic phone, you're not looking for anything too fancy, just something that's going to work. It'll meet all of your basic expectations, and it does it very well. As far as doing gaming or some really high-end videography or whatnot, not so much. It probably does it okay, but it's not going to blow away your friends. Especially if you're a prepaid guy like me and your friends are comparing it to contract phones. So there are some, like I said, there are some good things about this, but there are quite a few horrible things about this phone too. But again, the things that I do like about the phone is thin. It feels like a solid device, having that nice band around here. It feels like a quality device. There are some things that I just wish that Samsung would have focused a little bit more attention on, and I really wish they would have focused a little bit more attention on putting a little bit better camera on the back. But again, the phone's been averaging $129, and depending on the retailer that you go to, has been right around $100. for the device. And, you know, when you compare it to the Moto E, and I haven't really gotten to play with the Moto E hands-on. The Moto E has Android 5.0 out of the box. This is still running 4.4.4 KitKat, so this is a little bit behind in terms of software update, but this does have a few features that the Moto E does not have, which is the LED flash. It has a better front-facing camera on here, and the build quality of it, comparing it to the Moto E, does seem to be a little bit better. The screen resolution on this device is not that great. It's only, I think, a little over 200, 208, I think, PPI. It's not a lot. And it only registers in about 480 in the definition. 840, I think 840 by 480 in definition. So it's not a high quality HD screen. It doesn't play video in at least 720p, so it's just a standard definition, which has its positives. If you're on the network and you're wanting to watch a YouTube video, okay, having the video resolution only come up in their max, in the max range of about 460 or 480 or whatever the standard definition basically is, it uses less data over the network. So on this device, you will use less data when watching videos. Even when it comes up to photos or whatnot that come up on here, you will use less data over the network than you would on a device that has an HD screen and you're watching video in HD. If you're connected to Wi-Fi, obviously none of that matters. But if you're over the network, standard definition, having this only play in standard definition actually saves you on your data. So there are some positives to this device, having only a standard definition screen, having a lower definition screen. But overall, it's not something that people are going to be wowed by. This isn't a phone that's going to come out of your pocket and just absolutely wow everybody with the device. So it's a nice looking device, and it does get a lot of people, again, kind of thinking that it's a higher end device. You know, I've gotten this confused a couple of times with, hey, you know, when did you get a Galaxy S4? And it's not even close. Galaxy S4, you know, 5-inch screen or whatever, but it looks like a higher quality phone, and people do actually like this. This is the Galaxy Prevail that the Galaxy Prevail 2 should have been. When the Galaxy Prevail 2 came out, this is what it should have been, only maybe with a dual core or whatever. But the Prevail 2 was an absolute horrid device, and this is, you know, a hell of a lot better. And for $129, you can't beat this. What I would like to do is to do another comparison video to other devices compared to this. Obviously, I did the LG Volt. The LG Volt was a little lackey in some areas, and this still seems to be a pretty responsive device. So again, long term, this has been a pretty good phone. Is it going to wow your friends? Probably not. Is it going to be that device that is going to blow away an iPhone? Definitely not. But if you're looking for a good handheld device that's nice and portable, you know, the 4.5-inch screen that's on here, a nice build quality on here, as far as the device is concerned. I feel like the build quality is better than a Galaxy S3. So if you're looking for a good device overall, I think this is going to be an excellent choice for you. Now, it's going to depend on what you want to spend the money on. Spending more money doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a better device, so keep that in mind whenever you're purchasing a cell phone. I can't really compare this to a Galaxy S4. I think the S4 is like probably the best bang for the buck you can buy, or an LG G2. I think is a really good bang for the buck that you can buy, but they do cost more money. This for Boost Mobile selling it for 129, I think, right now, and depending on retailers you go to, they're like $99. For a long-term phone, it's not too bad. I wouldn't denounce anybody for purchasing this particular device, and I still praise it today. But like I said, there has been times where it's been a little glitchy and it's gotten bogged down, and I truly believe that it's because there's not enough RAM memory on this device. It's only got 1 gig of RAM memory on here. So I almost feel like if they had put 1.5 gigs of RAM memory or 2 gigs of RAM memory on this device, even if the ROM was only 8 gigabits of built-in storage, 2 gigs of RAM memory would make this thing, with that 1.2 gigahertz quad-core processor, would make this thing, I think, fly. And I'm not saying that it'll be faster than an S4 or an LG G2 or G3 or whatever, but at least it would give you guys something to be excited about with having 2 gigs of RAM memory on it. And it would just make multiple applications run a lot smoother. But this is a device that you do, after so many applications, you do have to close them out or the thing does get bogged down. And like I said, it's gotten glitchy on me a couple of times. Going on the internet has allowed this thing to just go to like a white screen, and it's really pissed me off. And like I said, sometimes it gets laggy to the point where you're waiting for applications to open or waiting for something to update, like your news feed or something like that. You have to wait for your news feed to update. It's hit or miss. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I don't know. But again, check your updates and update this thing as many times as you can. Check your Play Store, do your updates on the Play Store. Make sure that all your apps are up to date, because sometimes it's an application problem, sometimes it's a software issue. But a lot of times I still believe that some of the applications would just run better if the device had more RAM memory. So the long-term test, in conclusion, it's been pretty good. I'm not going to complain about it. It's had its ups and downs. I think like any other phone that you have for a long period of time, that you kind of get annoyed by some of the little quirks that the thing has. But overall, it's been a good device. So if you're looking for a long-term phone, I think you can find one in this. So I hope you guys enjoy watching the video. If you have any questions or concerns, and if you have any questions about Android 5.0 coming out on this device, I cannot tell you when. There's been speculation all over the internet of Android 5.0 coming out on this device for quite some time, and there's no real timetable. Some have said that in June, they were rolling them out for the Galaxy Core Prime, which is the same exact device. They were rolling them out for the Galaxy Core Prime back in June for the 5.0 in Europe, and it should be coming to the States soon, but it's taking forever and a day to get over here. I don't know what the issue is. It has the hardware to run Android 5.0, and there's other devices that are coming out on the market right now with the same processor, the same amount of RAM memory, the same amount of ROM memory that are running Android 5.0 out of the box. So there's really no reason why this hasn't been updated, other than it needs to go through Sprint software engineers or Samsung software engineers in order for this thing to be updated. So I can't give anybody a timetable on an Android 5.0 update. I would hope that sometime before the end of the year they'll come out with the update. By then, I don't even know if I'll have this phone, but at least it'll give you guys somewhat of an idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about this long-term test that I've had, again, this is by my phone every day for the past however many months since I did the other video, which, hey, I'm in my new house here. So having said that, hopefully I'll have some more videos coming up. But it's been a good long-term phone so far for the past couple of months that I've had it. We'll see how the next couple of months go, and we'll see if I get a different phone or not. But right now, I did want to do a long-term test on this phone. I thought this phone was a great phone out of the box, and I wanted to keep this around and not buy something else to do another review until I got a good long-term test on this, and I think I have. I think this has been a great phone. It's still very responsive. Again, I don't think it's going to be a wow phone, that's going to make people flock to the stores to buy it, but I think it's been a good phone. According to Boost Mobile, it has been a hot phone too. This has been a hot seller. So, again, if you're looking to purchase one, long-term test, this is an excellent phone. Can't go wrong with it. Again, click the like button if you like it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. And hopefully you will see another review from me here soon. So have a wonderful day.